I figured out. There we go. Good morning, everyone. So this is Deschutes County's legislative update. This is Friday, June 13th. Let's see, Friday the 13th at 8 o'clock. Any commissioner updates this morning to get us going? We kind of have our regular agenda here.
So I think I saw that one original sponsor of SB 916 actually changed their vote. Doug, can you confirm that? I saw it on X that they pulled back their support for that. So there's a chance that maybe that isn't going through. Is that true? Or was that a fake news?
Well, that situation has changed since then, and the bill passed the House yesterday, and it's on the way to the governor's office with a 10-week availability of unemployment insurance. So it was a temporary win.
Oh, it's too sad.
Yep. Yeah, that all transpired between Wednesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon. Moved very quickly.
Yeah. Amazing.
I can give a quick update on, well, I'm not sure how quick it'll be because there's a lot going on, but if you want me to get started, I'm happy to give an overview.
So just one other, well, two things. Association of Oregon Counties sent out action alert for 3962A. I'm sure, Doug, you can get to that. So that's transient room tax, my understanding, and whatever the last status is on that. And then also kind of on a different note, the behavioral health financial agreement for counties is a big topic at Association of Oregon Counties right now, too.
Yep.
And there was a meeting with the governor's office, commissions, and health directors yesterday. Thursday, yesterday. But yeah, you're probably up to speed on some of that, Doug. So Commissioner Chang, anything to start off this morning?
I'm going to be leaving in a couple minutes for the Made in Redmond tour, but I'll try to stay for Doug's update, and wanted to share with everyone that bill to reform the Groundwater Protection Act 1154 has been modified. So now those Goal 11 exception type opportunities are available in both groundwater management areas and the kind of lower level of groundwater areas of concern. And I think that that's a good reason for us to consider supporting the bill, but there's a lot of other stuff in it. So
okay, thank you very much. Okay, Doug, thanks for joining us.
Great. Well, thanks everyone. Doug Riggs on behalf of the county. We are nearing the end. The end may be sooner than we think. I think it could be as early as next Friday or the next Monday or Tuesday. I think decisions have been made. The leadership and Ways Means folks have stopped listening to input from anyone. I was outside a Ways and Means room yesterday, and I think pens are down on most bills. I think pens are down on capital construction. Pens are probably down on the ODOT budget, not the transportation package, because I think that's going to fail, will not advance. But I think pens are down on just about everything. And now it's a matter of the LFO staff writing reports, getting things ready, and we'll see an avalanche of, some big bills on Monday and Tuesday, probably in Ways and Means. So the end is near. Big issues as Commissioner DeBone, as you mentioned, the transient lodging tax is one bright spot. It moved on a party line vote yesterday, 4-3, out of the House Revenue and Finance Committee. It changes the formula from 30/70 to 60/40. Pretty major change. I think it goes further in giving local communities the authority to use funding for key local projects that are impacted by tourism than the earlier version. So we'll see if they have the time to get it out of the House and then into the Senate and out of the Senate. We'll see. But it was a party line vote. Republicans voted no, and the Democrats voted yes. So that's one big issue. But a lot of big things have not yet crossed the finish line. Chief among them are wildfire. There is still no clarity on what they plan to do with the wildfire bills. And, that bill is being held, Senate Bill 83 is being held hostage by the Speaker, as well as our bill, Senate Bill 75. And I talked to the Speaker's office yesterday morning, and they promised me that Senate Bill 75 will move. But, again, time is getting short. So that's one issue that is still kind of in the wings. On transportation, there's a lot here. So I could spend the whole half hour talking about transportation. There's been a series of hearings, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday hearings, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday hearings on the proposal that was rolled out last week. The Republicans immediately said, hey, you didn't include, our major suggestions, and therefore we're going to be against it. That division seems to be rift seems to be widening as the days have gone by. I talked to several of the legislators yesterday afternoon about the transportation package. Negotiations continue, but there has been a group formed and is raising money to refer a package to the ballot. So already we're in that position where it would be a bill, even if it passes, is going to face a challenge at the ballot box, and that's bad news. The reason the previous two have succeeded is because we convinced the main parties, AAA and the truckers, not to get involved in a ballot measure referral, and neither of those groups right now are expressing support for the package as introduced. So from my perspective, I think it's very doubtful that we will see a package cross the finish line before the end of the session. Part of that is, I think, because there's still not clarity on accountability measures for ODOT, which, as I've said repeatedly on this phone call, I thought should have been unveiled weeks ago. Possibility something could come back in September or January, or I could be completely wrong and they miraculously pull a rabbit out of the hat and get a bill out next week or the week after, but that's looking uncertain. Two other big things that affect the county. Number one is community corrections. They did not adopt the cost study. I do not think they are going to adjust that in any sort of an end of session bill. I think that's going to be very problematic. Many counties are already announcing layoffs. Washington County announced their layoffs yesterday. AOC does not feel very optimistic, and neither do I. I think that's a major mistake on the part of the Ways and Means Committee. The other thing is, as Commissioner DeBonne mentioned, is that behavioral health funding, the county state agreements, the governor was pretty blunt in the meeting yesterday in saying, tough luck. You have to pay a higher share than you should be paying, and I think that's really going to complicate things. So on those two issues, we're really going to be in trouble.
6-year agreement is the proposal, which means they're trying to lock something in for quite a while on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't in the meeting, but I heard about it loud and clear from AOC folks yesterday afternoon. Quickly, on water issues, Senate Bill 1153 now exempts municipal water providers, so cities and counties, special districts. But the bill still has generated significant opposition from the irrigation community, ag community, the farming community, et cetera. So that bill did move out of Rules Committee. It's going down to Ways and Means. It has a $500,000 fiscal. Ways and Means has closed all the subcommittees except for capital construction. So it's unclear to me how they would move that bill out of Ways and Means if they're trying to shut down the committee. Remains to be seen. As Commissioner Chang mentioned, Senate Bill 1154, which is the water quality bill, has been modified fairly significantly. That seems to have calmed the waters a little bit on that one. That might have a little better chance of getting through. But again, we are within days of the end of the session, so it's difficult to tell. And then, of course, the last bills out of this building are always the capital construction bill, which is the bonding bill, includes all the bonding issues. That would include Core 3. I believe we will get something for Core 3. I also believe that most projects are going to get cut. As an example, How rental assistance funding requested by the governor was cut by 80%. So to keep people in their rental units, the governor asked for 117 million. She only received 33 million. Early learning and childhood programs were cut by 5%. Homeless youth programs were cut by 20%. We haven't seen any bonding or capital projects yet, but if that pattern holds, then I think we will see requests either not funded or cut. And the last thing I'll say is this gets back to this whole issue that we talked about the last couple of weeks, is they are trying to preserve money in case the feds cut $1.5 billion from Medicaid, based on the fact that we are using general fund dollars to put undocumented individuals into the Medicaid program. And that's at a cost of $1.5 billion. So we are at risk of losing $1 billion to $1.5 billion from the feds. And it appears that what Ways and Means leadership is doing is taking little bits of money from every single category to hold back to be able to compensate for the losses that will suffer if the administration actually does make those reductions. So sorry for the long-winded filibuster here, but a lot going on. Ways and Means is meeting this morning. And then we're down to rules, revenue finance, Ways and Means as the only committees left open. And in the Ways and Means committee, Capital Construction Subcommittee appears to be the only subcommittee that will meet from this point on. So it's narrowing the focus, and that certainly is a sign that the end is near. I'll stop there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Commissioner Dare.
I did hear from Representative Owens, Mark Owens, on 1154, and he did say that he would be a yes on that bill, but he did say Senate Bill 1153, and he would recommend us not supporting it. He said neutral to good on 1154.
Yeah, great. So thank you very much for following up on that. As Commissioner Chang mentioned, goal 11 may be something interesting for Deschutes County proper, and water quality is very important. For back to that capital construction core 3 of capital. So there's an economic impact analysis that's been done by University of Oregon. There was a presentation on that yesterday to our team, but it's a good work product to be shared. We'll see what I don't know that we're going to influence the legislature at this moment as much with it, but it really shows a positive return on investment and public safety, community safety during large events. So it was a really positive moment looking at that economic impact for Core 3.
Yeah, Commissioner, I think that's a good point. I sat through the briefing yesterday as well. Good briefing, some really good statistics, and I made sure that the LFO staff saw a copy of it, and Representative Levy informed me this morning that she plans to follow up with the Ways and Means capital construction members and also follow up with Walt Campbell, LFO. So we're making sure that study gets in the right hands.
Yeah, good. So yeah, there's ways to get it into the mix. Good. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, well, any other department heads? I know, like Holly, you were involved with that behavioral health contract meeting yesterday. Any other thoughts or feedback on that?
Well, yeah, I wish it would have gone better. I wish we had had more support from the governor. I do think while it was unfortunate that there's a hard line in the sand having been drawn around subject to availability of funds, I think there is still, I'm holding, as I mentioned in my email to you all, I think there's a sliver of hope still in there of a potential compromise on some other language that might help counties feel better about that language staying in. And I think the 6-year agreement versus a shorter agreement is definitely on the table. I think a 2-year agreement was discussed yesterday. That might be a path forward. There's options that we want to explore. So I think those conversations will be happening over the next few weeks, and we'll stay very engaged.
Can you deduce what's the motivation here? I mean, we want to help people. These are safety net services. States saying, okay, counties, you're the local health authority, but we're going to put a hard expectation that you fix everything. I think, I don't know exactly what the right terms are there, but what do you think the big vision is? What's the goal?
Yeah, the motivation, in my opinion, the motivation is really driven by the federal contempt order over OHA. So that's driving
Okay.
all of
Okay.
this. And it's unfortunate because it's
Yeah.
it's really bad policy for Oregon, in my opinion.
So kind of ratcheting up to a boiling point, and okay, I see. That helps. I was trying to, that was the last little piece I wasn't kind of understanding. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Anybody else with the hot topic, department heads, other elected? And then anything, Jen? Yeah, so
Sorry, just one quick thing. We are not meeting next week. I did put that in the email, but just to clarify for everyone, we're not meeting next week, but we'll come back the following week to kind of do a debrief session recap, assuming that session's out that week. If it's not, we'll still meet. So
yeah, understood. So looking at the calendar, so the 20th we won't meet, and then the 27th we will meet. And then, yeah, what we're seeing and what we're hearing from Doug, yeah, maybe just looking at the pieces as we know it 2 weeks from now. So interesting.
Yeah, I mean, technically we have until the 29th. There are all sorts of rumors flying around the building. I mean,
Yeah.
one rumor is that the House Republicans plan to walk out 9 days before the end of the session, which would be on the 20th. So they could walk out for 9 days and still not get to the 10-day constitutional threshold for not being able to run again. That's one rumor.
Yeah.
So the counter rumor, or the counter to that, would be that's why they're rushing all of the Ways and Means processes so they can be done by the 19th. And so that was the rumor floating around yesterday, so we'd be done by Juneteenth, which is the 19th. So that was one rumor floating around, but no one really knows. I mean, from a paperwork standpoint, it would be very difficult for them to complete everything that they need to complete because they are not voting on their Oregon Health Authority budget. They still haven't done the ODOT department budget either. That's a big one, and they haven't done capital construction. So each of those, if they do them Monday or Tuesday, to get them through both houses and done, they might have to. I mean, they could do it if they did something they used to do, which is stay all night. We used to do all-nighters all the time. We haven't done that. Peter Courtney made sure we didn't do all-nighters or go on to July 4th. So it's possible, I suppose, that they could be out by next Thursday or Friday. But if they do that, what that means is that an awful lot of people go home unhappy. I mean, I cannot tell you how unhappy many legislators are because their priorities and their bills that they worked on for 18 months in the interim and held work groups on and did hearings and tried to figure out how do we get the state from ranking 47th in something, how can we improve that by doing these changes? And they put together work groups and task forces, and we all participated in all that. And we went to tours and we did all these interim things so we could come back to the legislature with ideas for improving our situations in certain areas. And Ways and Means is basically saying none of that. We don't want any of those new good ideas. We want status quo. We're just going to fund the status quo, and we're going to stay at 47th, 48th, 49th in all these categories. So legislators and, interest groups and advocates are, I think, going to go home very unhappy, not just because of the budget, but also because some of the policy changes, which might have moved the needle or moved the dial, have been just flat out rejected by the Ways and Means Committee. So we shall see.
Yeah, thank you.
It's that time of year.
And it just reminds me how well Deschutes County proper, and I want to thank everybody here, is working. We're getting through the budget process. Deschutes County, we just signed a agreement with our AFSCME union, and we're working on other parts, but we're holding it together in these turbulent times. So I do want to thank everybody in leadership that's on this call very specifically, and let's make sure we're working together and communicating the best we can. Commissioner Dare.
I just heard from Representative Emerson Levy. She said the Terrebonne sanitation system asked for 2.5 million through capital construction, and they haven't released it yet, but she is pushing for that. And then the Juniper, she said likely not to be funded with the amount of cuts, but she is a co-sponsor of that bill too. So if that one isn't funded, yeah. We already saw what happened. 20 homes burned in the Dalles in Rowena from that fire that they don't know the cause of yet. And we've already had all these fires, and we've had over 5,100 lightning strikes. It's just going to be a fabulous summer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be removing some I got this one inside corner at my house which has needles in the gutter, and the rest of it's clear. But that's this weekend. That's a job for this weekend.
No, everyone, I've been talking to everyone. I'm like, please, folks, clean up your property now. Because yeah, it's going to be too late otherwise.
Well, and just that 0 to first 5 feet too. I mean, it doesn't have to be a wholesale cleanup of everything, which is a big job, but just those first 5 feet around the perimeter of your house.
And please don't put any mulch or bark down.
And I hope people are listening to these words of wisdom.
Well,
Okay. So it's,
I'll-
anything else?
Holly, oh, there's comments in the chat about any news on the child psych facility asked from Holly. Did that- no.
I would just add, that's something we've been pushing, and Ways and Means has simply stopped listening. So they probably have made all the decisions. And Ways and Means has been very consistent about two things: CSL. They want to fund the existing programs and the existing level of staffing at state agencies. That's what CSL is the staffers in those white buildings at agency headquarters in DC. That's CSL. And then the other thing that they have said is no new programs. So I'm very doubtful that they will fund good new ideas to improve the situation and keep kids out of bad situations, which is sad to say, but I think unfortunately the reality with the current leadership in Ways and Means right now.
A black hole that we'll see what pops out the other side, and it may be within about a week. Okay, anything else for this meeting? Thank you everyone for being here, and we'll see each other in 2 weeks on this topic, figuring out what has happened in the near future. So thank you very much. Everybody take care.
Sounds good. Take care.